Hello. We continue our training course within the project that connects nanotechnology and biotechnology for business and development, NanoBioTech Nexus. My name is Malyshivskyi, and together with you, we will explore what entrepreneurship is all about. So, welcome to our module, Introduction to Entrepreneurship. Before we begin, let me remind you that views and opinions expressed are, however, those of the author only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or EIT raw materials. Our module will be divided into two main parts. In the first part, we will talk about what entrepreneurship is, who is an entrepreneur, and dive into the basics of design thinking in entrepreneurship. In particular, we will discuss how to define a problem and how to generate ideas for solving it. In the second part, we will continue learning about design thinking in entrepreneurship. We will take a closer look at models such as B2C, B2B, and human to human. And we will finish with strategic planning, trying to understand why forming a mission, vision, and values is important not only during the functioning of a startup, but already at the stage of its creation. So let's start with our first block. What is entrepreneurship and who is an entrepreneur? Take a look at this image. I think you surely recognize these two famous people. Pause for a moment and try to answer the question, what do I know about them? I believe you recognized that one of them as Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, and the other one as Thomas Edison, the founder of General Electric and one of the greatest inventors of his time. They had much in common. Both were strong visionaries, both were innovators, and we can call both of them entrepreneurs. But there were also key differences. The main difference is that Thomas Edison was an inventor. He personally created and engineered devices. You probably know the story of how he invented the phonograph, the light bulb, and many other things. Steve Jobs, by contrast, was not an inventor in the technical sense. He focused on the final product. He had a vision of what should be created, what it should look like in the end, and how users should interact with it. But he never built it with his own hands. He didn't code or invent technologies. Instead, he drew upon the potential skills and competencies of other people, and in that way brought new products into existence. Yet both of them will still call entrepreneurs. Here is the first important message I want you to clearly understand. An inventor and an entrepreneur are not the same. To be an entrepreneur, you don't have to be an inventor. Quite often, when I work with students, I hear, I can code, I can build things with my hands, I don't know how to use a 3D printer, so I can't be an entrepreneur. But that is not true. You don't have to. It's enough to find the right people, bring them your idea, and work together so they help you realize it. That's already entrepreneurship. So remember, entrepreneurs are not necessarily inventors. Entrepreneurs are people who know how to implement innovations. So, what exactly is entrepreneurship and who is an entrepreneur? There is no single universal definition of the term. However, if we summarize the various perspectives, we can formulate the following. Entrepreneurship is the process of identifying, developing, and pursuing opportunities to create value by bringing together resources and taking risks to introduce innovations. In other words, entrepreneurship is about turning ideas into actions then that bring value, economic, social, environmental, or all three at once. Let us take a closer look at the five key elements that characterize entrepreneurship. First one, opportunity recognition. Entrepreneurship is not only about launching something new, entering the market, or pitching to investors. A huge part of it lies in detecting unmet needs and gaps in society, markets, or specific industries. We always begin by testing whether a real problem exists and whether we can create will truly deliver value to our customers. Second one is innovation. Innovation is about creating or improving products, services, processes, or models. We will return to this in more detail later. The third one is risk taking. Entrepreneurship always involves risks. We may be confident in our idea, but ultimately the market decides. We must be prepared that if things go wrong, we could lose resources, reputation, or both. The next one is resource mobilization. This means gathering and coordinating capital, people, knowledge, and infrastructure into a coherent system, a company or organization capable of creating new value. And the last one, value creation. Finally, entrepreneurship is about what the customer gains: economic benefits, saving money or time, social benefits, status, access, opportunities, or environmental benefits, more efficient use of resources. Among these five elements, which one is the most important? The answer is opportunity recognition. Consider this. Take a look at these pop-up products. They may differ in color, shape, or country of origin, but their basic function remains the same. And yet, the company that first introduced the pop-up to the market gained the greatest benefit. As Peter Thiel famously said, true winners are those who move from zero to one, those who innovate. But for such a leap to succeed, the timing and market conditions must also align. No matter how great your product is, no matter how affordable, multifunctional, or well researched, if there is no market for it, or if the market is shrinking, the product is doomed. A company without customers cannot survive. That is why identifying opportunities is the central skill of successful entrepreneurs. Sometimes luck plays a role, but more often it is the entrepreneur's talent for catching the moment that makes the difference. Quite often, people confuse entrepreneurship with small businesses. In Ukraine, for instance, we even have the legal term private entrepreneur, which in fact usually describes small business activity rather than entrepreneurship in its true sense. So how can we distinguish one from the other? Entrepreneurship is always about innovation and growth. It's about scalability, expanding beyond a local market to reach much wider audience. Entrepreneurship carries high risk, but at the same time creates the potential for a significant and scalable impact. Entrepreneurs strive to change the world, their country, or at least the lives of many people by making something easier, faster, or better. Entrepreneurial thinking is therefore opportunity driven and growth oriented. It goes beyond short term profit and focuses on creating long term change. By contrast, small business is typically stable and local. It's about meeting the needs of a specific community with lower risk because small businesses usually satisfy basic needs that are always in demand. The mindset here is income oriented. I live here, I work here, I serve my local customers, and that is enough. A simple example illustrates the difference. Selling vegetables in small business is a small business. The market is local, the products are seasonal but predictable, and success depends mainly on freshness and price. Selling ready-to-cook vegetable kits for international recipes, however, can be entrepreneurship. It requires a mission, for example, to make world cuisines easily accessible at home. This approach involves risks, shorter shelf life, more complex logistics, constant innovation, packaging, recipes, customer segmentation, and a scalable business model. And now let's talk about who is an entrepreneur. Simply put, An entrepreneur is someone who takes the risk of starting and managing a business or project to bring a new idea, product, or service to life. It's a person who can identify needs and opportunities, generate ideas, design solutions, mobilize resources, and take responsibility for initiating and leading a project. Notice that the word invention is absent here. In the modern world, entrepreneurship is not primarily about inventing. It's about turning ideas into innovations that can create real value. A brilliant description was once given by Joseph Schumpeter, an Austrian economist who also worked in Ukraine at Trinity University. Schumpeter called the entrepreneur an agent of change, someone who introduces innovations and stimulates economic development. According to him, entrepreneurs have a kind of superpower, the ability to combine resources in new ways to create innovations. And resources can be anything: land, oil, gas, equipment, money, or just as importantly, knowledge, skills, and competencies. An entrepreneur sees a need, has an idea of how to solve it, and brings together the right mix of resources and people to make it real. Thus, entrepreneurship is not merely about invention, it's about the practical and profitable application of ideas through resource combination. To be an entrepreneur, you need a specific set of skills. Let us highlight six that are particularly important. First one, innovative or innovativeness, the ability to think creatively and find original solutions to problems. Risk taking, being prepared to make bold moves despite uncertainty. Opportunity seeking, recognizing market gaps and responding with relevant solutions. Resilience, the ability to recover quickly from setbacks and keep moving forward. Visionary, seeing the bigger picture and having a clear sense of future direction. And decision making, taking responsibility for choices and their outcomes. If you have all six, wonderful, you are a natural entrepreneur. If some are missing, do not worry. Entrepreneurial thinking can be developed with practice and awareness. In essence, an entrepreneur is not simply a business person. An entrepreneur is a creator, creator of change, someone who sees opportunities where others see problems, and who act decisively to make things happen. We have already mentioned innovations many times, but what exactly does it mean? In modern understanding, innovation is the process of transforming an idea into a solution that creates value. Notice again, invention is not required. An innovation may involve a completely new creation, but it may also be an improved use of something that already exists. The key point is this: an idea or invention becomes an innovation only when it's implemented in the market and generates real value for consumers. If no one uses it, it remains just an invention. For example, you might patent a new way of cracking nuts, but if no one buys it, it's not an innovation. It becomes one only when restaurants, households, or businesses adopt it and save hours of effort. There are several misconceptions about innovation that I often encounter with students. Let us debunk them together. The first one, innovation means technology. Not true. Innovation can happen anywhere: services, management processes, customer experience, even education or government. Second one, innovation means inventions. Also not true. Innovation can mean improving or combining existing solutions in a new way. The third one, innovation means startup. Not necessarily. Startups are one form of innovation, but innovations can also happen in schools, governments, or even in non-governmental sectors. And the last one, innovation means big budgets. False again. Many impactful innovations cost little or nothing. For example, lean management practices can dramatically improve efficiency without new equipment. Innovation, therefore, is always about improvement and value creation, economic, social, or environmental. Inventions can appear in products, new or improved goods and services, processes, more efficient or cost-effective ways of doing things, business models, entirely new ways of delivering and capturing value, user experience, enhancing how people interact with the product, even through simple changes like packaging. A well-known example is Uber. Uber did not invent taxis, mobile apps, GPS, digital payments, or smartphones. Its innovation was creating a platform-based business model that combined these elements into a seamless new experience. Now let us move to the final part of this block, design thinking. We often hear different types of thinking: critical, creative, analytical, strategic, systematic, reflective. Design thinking is another such approach, and its uniqueness lies in this: it puts people at the center of the problem solving process. Entrepreneurship is, after all, about people, creating value for real human beings. If you forget the human element, even the most advanced product can fail. Design thinking helps us to focus on real needs, study real problems, and generate solutions that truly fit the user. Its key features are human-centered, focusing on needs, emotions, and behaviors of real people; collaborative, involving diverse perspectives in problem solving; iterative, prototyping, testing, and refining continuously; and creative and analytical, balancing imagination with analytical discipline. If design thinking is used correctly, it helps you to avoid solving the wrong problem, leads to more innovative and user-friendly solutions, and encourages experimentation over perfection. Uh, Core principles of design thinking in entrepreneurship. The first one is empathy. Understand the user's true needs, motivations, and challenges. The second one is define the problem. Clearly articulate the problem to be solved. The third one is ideate. Brainstorm widely to generate many possibility solutions. The first one is prototype. Create quick, tangible, and models of solutions. And the last one, test. Engage users, gather feedback, and refine continuously. What is the problem and where to find it? Problem is a real-world pain point, unmet need, or inefficiency experiences by a specific group of people, customers, communities, businesses, that can be solved through a product, service, or innovation. I often see that my students make a lot of mistakes in the process of problem definition. So let me put it simply and show you what mistakes you should avoid during this phase. First one, problem is not about absence of something desirable. For example, problem statement: 50% of population age 60 plus don't have smartphones. But if you dig deeply, you see that you ask yourself, do they really need it? For what do they need the smartphones? What type of apps they need smartphones for? So if you start answering these questions, you see that maybe there is the absence of smartphones is not the problem. The problem is lack of communication with loved ones because of distance and disabilities. And if you put the problem this way, it automatically emphasize human product. And that's what we are desiring. In the center of everything in entrepreneurship is a human with its pains, with its needs, and the problem has to reflect one. So we don't put our product in the middle of the problem, but we put the real need of the human, our target audience. That way, the problem is put correctly. Second, problem always have more than one solution. The same way, 35% of students don't have their own personal laptop. And if you put the problem this way, the quickest solutions are let's sell the one, let's open online store, let's open store in the campus. But it's all about the selling. But what is the real problem behind lack of laptops? It could be problem with studying or need to cap up with other students, or there is no problem at all. So true good problem has to have more than one solution. If it's really obvious that the problem was formulated wrong way. Third one, problem has to be widespread and measurable. Example, not enough Ukrainians use online payment services. But not enough, it's how many? For you, not enough is 30%, but for me, it's 50%. So you have to calculate approximate measure, approximate percentage of humans with the problem, because that helps you to calculate potential market. If you don't have the amount of your market, you cannot predict your future sales, future profit and loss forecast, and so on. So please try to be as specific in the measurement as you can be. And the last one, problem has to be real, painful, and faced by real humans. Example, 25% of male population in Ivano-Frankivsk region face hair loss. But 25% of male sounds too generous because it includes babies, children, and even men who wants to be bald. So you have to make great understanding of specific characteristics of human who are facing that problem. It helps you to create a product that will fit your target audience as much as possible and will be desirable. Few real life examples. Problem, long waits for taxis, Uber, on-demand ride hailing. Expensive international calls, Skype, right now it's Zoom or Google Meet, free internet calls. Limited access to credit in rural areas, microfinance, mobile-based lending platforms, and so on. But I want to remember one thing. Before finding solutions, during finding solutions, and during making improvements, all the time, talk to your target audience, collect feedback, and do surveys. So during measuring the problem, during trying to figure out the problem, please go to your neighbors, go to your friends, ask them what are the pain points they feel, what do they need in the market for specific problem. It helps you to design such kind of product that will be the most desirable and helps your company to grow and be successful. How can we turn problem into innovative solution? One of the instruments I want you to use is brainstorming. So what is brainstorming? Brainstorming is a creative thinking technique used to generate a wide range of ideas or solutions to a specific problem or challenge. It encourages free thinking, open sharing, and suspension of judgment to unlock innovation. Uh, One thing you have to remember, the goal during the brainstorming is quantity over quality. You have to explore many ideas as you can before evaluating or refining them. Key rules for effective brainstorming. The first one, no judgment during idea generation. You have to create a safe space where everyone can say whatever they want without no judgment. Second one is encourage wild ideas. Even in the craziest ideas, you can find something really valuable and use it in for future during your designing of the idea. The third one is built on others' ideas. Once the idea was spoken out loud, it becomes the idea of the group. So everyone can improve it, everyone can change it a bit, and it's totally okay. Everyone has to be okay with it. The first one is aim for quantity first. You remember, not quality, but quantity. Try to do as much as you can, and it helps you to find really good ones in the final stage. And last but not least, record everything. Uh, if somebody told you an idea, please write it down because we are humans and we are like to forget something. And this is very important that all ideas are written down in some way. There are two types of brainstorming: unstructured and structured. Unstructured brainstorming is a free-flowing, open discussion style where participants share ideas as they come without a set order or rigid format. It's very creative and it's used in the teams which are really creative and doesn't need to be guided. On the other side, structured brainstorm is a guided, rule-based brainstorming method where participants follow a defined process, often taking turns or using time limits. Let's start with unstructured brainstorming. The first one, set the context and present problem statement. So in the beginning, the facilitator, the person who will guide you through the process, has to briefly describe the problem, so everyone on the team is on the same page. Once you start brainstorming, it's very important to set time limits because it stimulates brain activity. If there is no time limit, you people are working really slowly. But if there is time limit, any deadline, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's up to you. Team is working better. Very important that you have to choose a facilitator, the person who will guide the process and ensure or create respectful and safe space. As I told you earlier, it's very important to capture ideas by using sticky notes, whiteboard, digital tools, no matter what, but um, every idea has to be captured. Uh, Before discussion or during the discussion, try to avoid criticism. There is no bad ideas. We have great ideas and good ideas that could be better. Yes. So we take all of them, we discuss all of them, we consider all of them, but we don't criticize any ideas. If you criticize the idea of one person, it can stop her from creating more in the future. And after you collected as much ideas as you can, discuss your ideas. So um, try to discuss them, pick good ones and great ones, together improve them, cluster similar ideas, and later review or vote on favorites. So after the process of brainstorming, you have to have a bunch of ideas and pick few of them that you are going to work with them more closely. On the other hand, structured brainstorming, its process is pretty the same, but there is a few differences. So you start with definition of the problem. You set time limits and ground rules, but before you start brainstorming, you have to prepare color sticky notes. Green, whether you will write everything that may help for your problem, to solve your problem. Red, any risk or threats regarding the problem. And blue, any observations regarding the problem. In the first round of brainstorming, each participant has to fill in the sticky notes with observations, helpful stuff, or threats. So it's very important not to start generate ideas for solving the problem directly, but just to write down your observations, anything you may concern you regarding the problem, or anything you think that might help you in the future to solve the problem. After you filled this green, red, and blue sticky notes, you start second round of brainstorming. So each person takes random sticky note. They has to be shuffled before, and provides one idea taking into account the information received. So, for example, I chose red note, I read it to the team and create an idea how the information I have can help me to solve the problem. And so everyone in the team, turn by turn, takes the sticky note, read it, and try to create an idea. Very important, there has to be someone, facilitator or whatever whoever you pick up, who will capture all ideas, like writing them down on sticky notes, whiteboard, share Google Doc, whatever. After that, you repeat rounds or shift to building on existing ideas. So you went through, you are going through all of the sticky notes, creating ideas, and after that you are discussing them, grouping them, and trying to pick one, the best one, in order to create a good decision for the problem. Uh, this is the end for the first part of the our module. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I invite you to take the short quiz that follows that will help you reinforce what we have discussed and reflect once more on the key concepts of entrepreneurship, innovation, and design thinking. See you in the next lecture.